Hello, this is Dave Sugarbaker, and today is the 26th day of July, 2026. And I have a reading from a very obscure part of Mark. Now, Mark's a short book, but this is something we don't usually pay much attention to. 13th chapter of Mark. But in those days, after that suffering, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will be falling from heaven, and the powers in the heavens will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in clouds with great power and glory. Then he will send out the angels and gather his elect from the four winds, from the ends of the earth to the ends of heaven. From the fig tree learn its lesson. As soon as its branches become tender and it puts forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So also, when you see these things taking place, you know that he is near at the very gates. Truly I tell you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have taken place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. But about that day or hour, no one knows, neither the angels in heaven nor the Son, but only the Father. Beware, keep alert, for you do not know when the time will come. It is like a man going on a journey. When he leaves home, he puts his slaves in charge, each with his own work, and commands the doorkeeper to be on the watch. Therefore, keep awake. Keep awake, for you do not know when the master of the house will come. In the evening, in the morning, at midnight, at cockcrow, at dawn, or else he may find you asleep when he comes suddenly. And what I say to you, I say to all, keep awake. Charles Dickens begins his book, Tale of Two Cities, with this paragraph. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief. It was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light. It was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair. We had everything before us. We had nothing before us. We are all going direct to heaven. We are all going direct the other way. The book tells the story of the Terror, a period in France in 1793-94, during the French Revolution, which itself lasted 10 years, when thousands of people were declared enemies of the state and beheaded, some justifiably, others in error. There are two books of the Bible and a portion of one of the Gospels that are hard to understand. And because they're so dark and so different than the rest of the biblical material, we tend to just ignore them. They sound a little bit like Charles Dickens, to tell the truth. They are the Old Testament book of Daniel, the New Testament book of Revelation, and what's called the Little Apocalypse in the Gospel of Mark. They are full of symbols and imagery and numbers about cataclysm and disaster, the seas boiling and the sky rolling up like a scroll. It's pretty scary stuff. All three are what is called apocalyptic literature. It arises in the most dreadful times. Daniel arises from a persecution of the Jews when Israel was occupied by a subgroup of Alexander's Greek Empire. We need a little background here. When Alexander died in 323 BC, his empire split into three pieces. There was Macedonia, and that was the home territory, Greece and the surrounding areas. The Seleucid Empire, Syria and east of Syria all the way to Afghanistan, and the Ptolemaic Empire, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and Africa. Israel was kind of on the border between the Ptolemaic and the Seleucid empires. For a century, the Jews lived under the Ptolemies, whose philosophy of occupation was pretty much live and let live. As long as the Jews paid their taxes, the Ptolemies would let them pretty much do what they wanted. Then the Seleucids took over. The new occupiers attempted to destroy the framework, the structure of Jewish life. The Seleucids proclaimed that Jews' religious practices were subversive. The Torah was forbidden. Just possession of the Torah scrolls would be punishable by death. Circumcising an infant was a capital crime. The temple at Jerusalem was turned into a temple for the worship of Zeus. After a generation of this kind of religious persecution, the book of Daniel emerged, and the Maccabean revolt broke out. The book of Daniel assured the Jewish faithful that even if life was presently hell, there was a new age coming in which those who kept the faith would be rewarded and the bad guys would get theirs. That's the message of apocalyptic literature. Hang in there. A new, better day is coming. Maybe not in this life, maybe in the next. The book of Mark, with its little apocalypse, was written about the time Nero became emperor of Rome, that is, 54 to 68 AD. His persecution of the nascent Christian movement was horrific. Christians were beheaded, thrown into arenas with wild beasts, or burned alive. No wonder there's an apocalyptic message embedded in the earliest of the Gospels. To keep the faith, God's new kingdom is coming soon. And 20 years after the time of Nero, emperors Domitian, Trajan, and Hadrian, and they covered the period 81 AD to 138 AD, they also persecuted Christians in various parts of the Roman Empire for about a half century, inspiring the creation of another apocryphal book, Revelations. What's the message of Revelations? Help is just around the corner. The new Jerusalem will arrive. The end of this present evil age is coming soon. Hang in there. You will get your reward, maybe not in this life, maybe in the next. The 13th chapter of the Gospel of Mark stands out like a sore thumb. It doesn't fit with the rest of the Gospel. But given the world in which the Gospel of Mark was written, with Nero's deadly persecution of Christians, it's understandable. An apocalyptic message, such as the books of Daniel or Revelation or the little apocalypse of Mark, are written to the faithful who are going through terrible persecution. The message is always, hang in there, keep the faith, baby. Those who can hold on to their faith in the midst of false messiahs, wars, rumors of war, earthquakes, famine, the leveling of the seemingly indestructible temple at Jerusalem. Those who see all these terrible things as the birth pangs of the new kingdom that is coming, these faithful will be rewarded in the end. Their faithfulness through terrible times will be worth it in the long run. Winston Churchill had a way with words. He told the people of Great Britain in the midst of the darkest days of World War II, when London was ablaze, if you're going through hell, keep going. Never give in. Never, 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 never. In things great or small, large or petty, never give in, except to convictions of honor and good sense. The good news of the most problematical portions of the Old and the New Testament, those strange, apparently predictive books of Daniel and Revelation and the little apocalypse in the Gospel of Mark, have a message for people who are going through terrible times. Every valley has a beginning and an end, even the valley of the shadow of death. If you're going through it, keep going. Now, God bless you. Thank you for spending your time listening to this. If you find value in it, I hope you'll pass it along. In any case, thank you for your time. God bless you. Take care of yourself. I'll see you soon.